Welcome to another Beacon demonstration video. Today I'll be showing you how to run the stock valuation report, which is a very powerful tool in generating the information to show you what your stock is worth, how many units on hand you have, and also what the cost price is of those items. So to run the report, very simply, we just go to Beacon, we go to Reports up the top, click on Stock Reports, and then Stock Reports again. Up the top we change this option where it says stock list and we change it to the second one down called the stock valuation. From there we pick the relevant settings we want to for our parameters, and I'll come back and explain this in a moment. But once we're happy with that, we click on OK, and this will generate the stock valuation report within the Beacon program. From there I'm going to click on File up the top and I'm going to go to Print. So now that we've generated the information into this report viewer format, you can see some of the information we have are the stock code, the stock item, the subgroup, and the stock on hand. That's SOH, stock on hand, which you can see some examples we have here are showing negative, which meaning that we probably need to restock take them, or we'd need to complete any invoices that we hadn't entered in previously. We have the units. And further along we have the average cost, and some of these are average costs where they show no symbol next to it, but any of these with a asterisk mean that they're a last cost, or any of them with a hat symbol mean that they're a list price. And then based on that we have the total value, so that's the stock on hand times the cost price. Moving along, we have GRNU, which is goods received not updated. So these are orders or invoices that have been entered but not completed. So they're in limbo, but the Beacon system still wants to count them. So they're counted as goods received not updated, GRNU. You can then see the cost price of those goods received not updated, as well as what the stock on hand plus the goods received not updated come to. And then based on that, the revised stock on hand value. And now we can go to the very last page and we can see what the total estimated stock value is. By going up the top here, we can change it to the very last page, and you can see at the very bottom, that's the total value. So from there, we can now run through the settings just to give you a bit more of an in-depth look of what you can restrict on. So with our stock valuation report, we have a few different parameters we can pick from. So we have the ability, firstly on the left-hand side, to restrict based on suppliers, based on departments, groups, subgroups, or stock items. So we can restrict to just a specific item, and in this case I have used the specific department of shop, but you could use it for restricting on fuel. On the right hand side we have the ability to show just the items like we saw before, item by item, or we can do item by item and subgroup totals, or item by item and group totals. Or you can even just use it to display just purely the group totals or the subgroup totals. Next thing down we have is the stock on hand filter, and we have the ability to include items with zero stock on hand. Alternatively, we can choose to not include the items with zero stock on hand. Or we have the ability to include anything with a negative stock on hand only. The next option down is we have the costing method. So we saw before that it will show you items with average cost or last cost and list price. We have the ability here to actually specify what the main costing method is. So average cost, last cost, or list price. The next thing down we have is the exclude unreconciled shifts. Now usually we tend to keep this unticked because we want to include live information, as in right now, the sales that are happening. So by unticking that, it means that all the live information is included as part of our valuation. And we also have the ability to restrict on a period. So right now it's current, meaning live information, but at the end of each month, we have a snapshot of each of the end of months performed. So you can actually run a previous end of month and find what the value was at that time. Down towards the bottom, we have the stock item type. So you have the ability to restrict on whether items are hidden or non-stocked or stocked but not sold. But if you leave it as all items, it'll include everything regardless of their type. And the very final two parameters we have are the ability to specify a specific item. So if I was just looking up items that were 600 milliliters, I could type in that keyword there and it would only bring up results with 600 ml in it. Alternatively, if I wanted to exclude any results with that same keyword, I could do that, and that would mean that no 600 milliliter items appear in my list. But from there, whichever options you tend to pick, once you hit the OK button, that'll generate the report, and it's as simple as that. Thanks for watching our video on the Beacon Stock Valuation Report. If you have any questions, feel free to email us at support@beaconsoftware.com.au.